20 lessons from my recent nursing home experience with my mom. So this is a list of my learnings from my mom being in a nursing home for 7 months. Number 19 can have huge financial consequences to you, so make sure you listen to that one. Mom was in a fully skilled unit, not independent living, not assisted living. I don't have experiences with those, okay? At the end, the very end, I'm gonna have my take on long-term care insurance after going through this as the power of attorney for my mom. I'm going to share all my notes from this, okay? So all 20 of these on my OneDrive, okay? Which I can share, open it up to everyone. You can access it with a link that's going to be in the show notes. So hit the show notes. You can see all 20 of these things. You can print it out, do whatever you want with it. My price for that is that you like, subscribe, and leave a comment that says at least thanks. Okay? Thanks. Tell me where you're from, too. I really enjoy hearing that or seeing that, where you're from. So just listen to these because I'm going to rattle through them, but you can print it out. You can store it in a file, share it with your family and friends if you want. Okay, let's jump right into this. Number 1, the Medicare 5-star rating system for nursing homes means nothing. Means nothing to me. These are all my opinion, by the way. That's my disclaimer. They have a system of 1 to 5 stars. When we were in the hospital with mom and had to make this decision, the caseworker gave us the star ratings, of all these facilities. And you're tempted as a family member to say, hey, let's only look at the 4 and 5 stars. We don't want to send mom or dad, to a bad place. But we ended up selecting a 1 star. I'm going to talk about why. But make sure if they do have a 1-star rating or less than a 4, ask them why they got that rating. Number 2, it's all about the staff. And there's huge turnover in the staff, okay? In most roles, including management. So it's just constant turnover. People only work there a few months. It's not a great job, for most people. Bad events on your record, like somebody falling. Somebody in a room may have just got up in the middle of the night, fell down and broke a bone. That's a reflection on the staff and stays with them for many months on their record. So the star rating can be after they fired an employee for not following procedures. It could be a random event that had nothing to do with the staff, but they got dinged for it. So that's just the way it is. It's all about the staff. I found the staff, honestly, to be heroes. But I'm telling you, it took me about 2 months of mom living there before I came to that decision. You're shocked at the whole experience at the beginning, and then 2 months into it, like, hey, these guys, they're good and they're caring. They're making the best of a bad situation. Number 3, all facilities follow a strict set of care rules. How many showers, how many meals, staffing levels, how many bed checks they're doing through the night, the care, they're all the same. So I went to 8. There's no difference between them. I actually experienced 3 audits. These are external audits that come in and just make sure they're doing everything right. So heavily regulated industry. Number 4, I toured facilities. The first time I did that by appointment, where they'd walk me around and point to things that they had at their facility and what they did and how they were organized, and extracurricular activities, how they did meals and learning the rules. But go back at least twice unannounced and go at different times of the day. Go at one meal time, one late in the evening, just show up at 8 o'clock at night, My sister taught me this. Use all 5 senses, including smell. You can smell, for example, urine pretty easily. I hate to be that blunt, but you can smell it pretty easily. And I only had a couple of facilities. I walked in and I was like, ugh, I don't like the smell of this place. Number 5, location is a big factor. I ended up picking a facility that was 5 minutes from my dad that allowed very frequent visits, and it was on the way to other tasks, other things my dad needed to do, like going to the grocery store, going to Walmart, something like that, going to church. Number 6, semi-private versus private rooms. There's a huge difference in these. Huge. I can't overstate the big difference. Imagine your mom in a facility in a semi-private room, which means double room. With one person wants to watch the TV on volume 71, and the other person is trying to sleep. Do you see a problem there? There's a danger of violence, one person hitting the other person because one person has dementia, one person's got some other kind of condition, one person tripping the other person while they're trying to pass each other in the bathroom. They do share a bathroom if you're semi-private. We did not like any of these for mom's condition. She was failing, her heart was failing, and she also had dementia. And it's also very difficult when you have a family like mine that's involved. Going in a room, when we had a private room, we can get 5-6 people in the private room to have a conversation. If not, you have to take them out to a common area, which is not bad. We had an outdoor patio and things like that. But then you may have to transfer them out of the bed into a wheelchair, which could be an issue. Medicaid. A lot of people are looking to say, hey, how do I get out of long-term care costs? Maybe I can hide my assets 5 years in advance in a trust, and then you get on Medicaid. Okay, but you're going down the semi-private room route, which I hate, okay? Maybe what you have to do, but I'm telling you, it's a bad experience. It's a bad experience squared, let's say that. It's all going to be a bad experience squared. Because Medicare, you are going to be in a semi-private room. If you make yourself poor on paper and you still have your home in your name and you qualify for Medicare by some, different things you did, but they will put a lien on your house. So say, mom's married to my dad, and mom goes in on Medicaid, and Medicaid pays for everything. All those expenses are ended up going to be a lien against the house. So when dad passes away, the government's going to come and say, you owe me $300,000. So it's not free. You can do some stuff with a trust. I think that works. But you got to decide whether you want to go down that path, and you're going to end up in a semi-private room. Number 8, my sister gave some great advice. This is probably the best of all these 20 points. All nursing homes are bad. Your challenge is to find the best of the bad. Just accept this is not a place where you're going to want to be. I don't want to say this too coldly or bluntly, but remember, you're not staying there. If your mom has dementia or is some mental issues and wants to be wants to just watch TV, sit on the couch, and you're not staying there. Well, you may have hopes and dreams. You want to travel. You want all these activities. Remember, it's not you. Hopefully that makes sense. It's hey, you're just sitting around in your nursing home room, watching TV, you got a few activities, you have 3 meals, you get a couple visitors. It's not a very exciting life, but remember, it's someone that's 80, 85 years old staying there, not you being 60. We got over that pretty quickly, but it was the best of a bad situation. Number 9, families need to be present. It's not that care changes from the staff, but when you're there, you significantly increase the comfort, the observations of what's going on, the boredom, and the loneliness. Get to know the staff, ask them questions. They're experts. They've seen it all before. You are not. Sadly, most residents don't get any visitors. Some get a weekly visitor. Mom got a lot. Dad was there every day. One of the kids was there every day. So she got at least 2 different visitors every day, and somebody was with her probably a minimum of 8 hours a day. Along those lines of visitation, you need to think about splitting up visitation time so everybody doesn't visit on a Monday and then nobody visits on a Tuesday. We came up with a schedule. We had subs. You know, when I went on vacation, my brothers stepped it up that week and vice versa. Yeah. Number 10, meals are like a high school cafeteria. There are some choices that you make every Wednesday. They filled out a little choices of what they were going to have, but there are some staples too, like you can get a hamburger, grilled cheese, and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich all the time. Number 11, activities are available. They'll have things like bingo, painting, and puzzles, but not many people attend these things. Those are more for the family to see that, oh, these things are available, but the residents don't get that excited about these. The exceptions were, at Christmas time, they had a piano there and somebody came in and sang to them a couple times. There's dog visits where dogs walk around. Halloween, they have trick or treat out there. Those were really neat things. The facility where we stayed actually had, meals for the family, like Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner for the family. That was neat. So it was like an open house. Number 12, check out their PT rehab lab. Great staff there. Moms, even after she went off Medicare rehab, they still gave her some exercise treatments and helped her walk and do some of the activities of daily living. Again, the staff was great. It's all about staff. 13, take your days just one at a time. Don't create any long-term plans. Every day, you just try to survive that day, as the support of your family member that's in the nursing home. Just every day is a new day. 14, they had an in-house doctor. Mom had an appointment every 2 weeks. All your outside doctor's appointments, you can cancel. You got this one doctor that takes care of everything. If they need to see a specialist, they'll arrange for transportation. It was all inclusive at the place we selected. That's one thing I didn't put a line item on here, is check what's included. Some of the nursing homes you'll go to will have a cheaper price, say $6,000 a month, but they nickel and dime you on everything. If they have to brush their teeth, it's this much more. If they have to transfer them into the shower, it's this much more. If they have to feed them, if they just do their laundry, there's just a whole list of things that they'll add it on. The place we stayed at, all inclusive. Okay, we paid one price. They didn't nickel and dime us at all. Check that. I'm going to add that. I'm going to have 21 things on this list by the time you see it. On specialists, do you really want to see specialists? Mom's heart condition, we stopped that. Okay, the in-house doctor took care of everything. 15, medications are typically from one centralized company, so you don't have to buy medications and do all that stuff. It comes in. It's going to cost a little bit more because they don't give 90-day supplies. It's not by mail order and all that stuff. They put it in these special packets so they don't get medicines confused, which is a big deal in nursing homes since everybody's on a handful. 16, many patients are in their 50s and 60s from strokes and diabetes. A lot of overweight folks in there and a lot of stroke people in there. I was very surprised. I would say 20%, maybe 25, were in their 50s and 60s. I was really shocked by that. 17, the overall experience is going to shock you, especially during tours. You're going to see patients, they may be yelling. They may be saying, I need help, I got to go to the bathroom. And, those were some common ones. Funny now, not really funny, but it's just very common. And you didn't see the aides just dropping everything and run into their assistants. The problem is some of these patients always yell. And when somebody says, I need help, I would go up to them. I did this personally several times. What do you need? I don't know. I just need help. And then you go to the aide and they say, well, they don't need help. They just went to the bathroom. They just ate. I just checked on them 30 minutes ago. Sometimes they just yell. And my mom did that several times too. A lot of them, and this was common, they take everybody to the bathroom, needs to go to the bathroom, and then it's all hands on deck helping people during mealtime. So everybody sits down to a meal and they're hand feeding several people. My mom was able to eat most of the time by herself, But then they say, I got to go to the bathroom. Well, they just went to the bathroom, and you can't leave all these people and stop the eating and clean up. And it's just you can't go away for a half an hour. It's the best of a bad situation. You do get used to this, and be careful judging the staff based on one event without the background, okay? Just be careful of that. 18, paperwork. I was dealing with 4 entities: the long-term care facility, Medicare, their supplement, which was with Blue Cross, and the long-term care insurance provider. They all have different requirements. They all have different paperwork. They were all delightful to work with. They were very helpful. But when I would call one to get an issue resolved, I typically got at least 2 more questions I needed to resolve. So I would spend hours working through an issue. So you call Medicare and get a question answered, but they'd say, oh, well, we need these 2 forms from these other 2 places. So then you have to call the other 2 places, and they'd say, well, I need documentation of this. I'm waiting for that. And there was no easy, I never made one phone call. There were several days that I've spent hours on the phone and scanning documents, emailing them in. Some of them use, it's crazy. The long-term care place used fax machines. Well, crazy. I was able to scan and email. They accepted that, and they got that more timely with today's mail. The paperwork, I tracked in Excel, for example. This was one of the best things I did. I have an Excel document every day where mom was, where she was physically in the hospital or at the facility, who was paying, who got paid already, what checks did we write, and a tally of the days of how many days she was on Medicare, how many days she was in rehab on Medicare, how many days counted towards the exclusion period with long-term care, all color-coded. Medicare pays 20 days at 100%, so your first 100 days you go in there, 100%. And then Blue Cross, their supplement, paid an additional 10 days, 100%. So the first 30 days was paid at 100%. And then Medicare will pay up to 100 days of rehab if they're progressing. And that's the PT group or rehab group that tells whether they're progressing. But if they're progressing and it's past these 30 days of 100% coverage, your copay is $204 a day. Well, that's a lot. That's $6,000 a month. Medicare bills, and this is part of the problem with the paperwork. I'm just trying to set a stage for you. Medicare sends a statement every quarter. So after 90 days, you get these statements that come in. Others give you statements every month. So you may have questions. Hey, somebody like the long-term care facility may say, I need the Medicare statement on that. Well, you're not going to get that for 2 more months. It was freaking crazy. I have 3 ring binders. I have a notebook that every discussion that I've had, I got every paper in a 3-ring binder, and I have an Excel document and a folder inside an email. I'm telling you, paperwork was overwhelming. It can get very complicated. Think about this. Your loved one goes in a nursing home and you get all this organized, and then they go out and go to the hospital for 5 days. Well, everything's a mess from there. You still pay for your room to reserve your room, but then Medicare picks it up 100% because it's a hospital stay. It stops being counted against your long-term care exclusion period, stops being counted against your Medicare rehab period. It just adds to the complication. Number 19, this is a big one. If you only learn one thing, this is it. You can negotiate the rate depending on who has the power in the negotiation. For example, if they have 15% open rooms at the long-term care facility, you got a lot of power, okay? I got a 10% reduction. A big deal, 10% deduction. In round numbers, $290 a day is what we were paying. And that was a 10% reduction. Now that's $8,700 for a typical month for a private room. and semi-private was about 8,000. So, long-term care. Long-term care insurance paid for 3 months out of the 7. Medicare paid for 1, 3 months was inside the exclusion period. So 4 months, for your first 4 months, you'll get no long-term care or benefit from it. Due to paperwork and delays, I've not seen a nickel of this. So it's still in the paperwork approval acceptance cycle. I do expect it, but 0. 7 months, have not gotten a nickel of the benefit. Consequently, you must front the money, okay? And you expect to be reimbursed 2 to 3 months later, okay? Now, a couple statistics from my Grok AI search. About 57% of nursing homes, of the residents that are in a nursing home stay longer than 100 days. 57%, okay? And like I said, the first 4 months, you're not getting a benefit, okay? That's 120 days. 43% stay fewer than 100 days. 56% of Americans will spend at least one night in a nursing home. So let's just say half. 56 of the 57%, okay? So 56% go into a nursing home and 57 stay longer than 100 days. That means 32% of people, okay, will spend over 100 days in a nursing home. 32%. One third of people. 1 out of every 3 will spend over a third. Over 100 days, sorry. Remember, you got this 120-day, basically exclusion period, because Medicare pays for the first month and then 90 days exclusion period from the long-term care provider. 9% of residents, so if you go in, spend 1 day there, you're going to 9% will stay longer than a year, according to Leading Edge New York. I don't know if that's a magazine or whatever source, but this is all on Grok. That's 1 in 10 will stay over 12 months, and 4 months is not covered. You decide. So my takeaways from this, personally, Joe Kuhn, take good care of your health. This is additional motivation to take stress out of your life. Focus on nutrition, eat healthy, 1 ingredient foods, exercise, and do your preventative care with your doctor. Get your blood test, get your colonoscopy, get your, A1C, I think that's blood sugar. Get that all checked. I'm telling you, I'm more motivated than ever after this experience. Number 2, on long-term care insurance, I've been asked this question probably 20 times in the last few months. Remember, the long-term care company is in business to make money. There's always somebody on the other side of the deal. Odds are not good for you that you're going to get the best value out of that transaction. My plan, self-fund. 9 out of 10 people are not going to stay in the long-term care facility over a year. 9 out of 10. Try to self-fund, okay? Try to self-fund is what my plan is. There you go. Again, I'm going to link this, but your price is to like, subscribe, and comment. Say thanks and where you're from. There you go. It's Joe out.